Throughout this screencast, I will be showing the application I've been working on over the last few weeks, utilizing processing to control Reaper via OSE. So if I go ahead and load Reaper, my program sends a command once it finally loads, which enables the screen names to refresh. As you can just see, it's just happened. All the names have just come through. And as you can see, I've implemented mute, solo, pan controls, and master controls. This is a bidirectional control from Reaper to my program to Reaper. So as you can see, I can click along and move the faders, or I can move through, and as can be seen on the right here, function is happening. I can then obviously mute as seen on the master now, and solo with the buttons just kicked in. I've also got pan controls as seen on channel 1, which you can mess around with just to get what you want. Beyond this, I've also got the transport controls, which so play as in C. This then shows the VU information on each channel with multicolour depending on the level that's coming in. Beyond this, I've got pause and stop and implemented rewind as well. Going further than this, I also decided to implement a setting page. You can change where we're sending the OSC information to, which ports. We can also utilize ArtNet to control our software. So we can turn this on. As we'll see, everything will just zero off because I'm not sending any ArtNet at the moment, and you can see that Reaper is just updated. So if I load the ArtNet monitor so we can see what's going on and bring in a copy of my phone, you can see, so if I type channel 2, because channel 1 is used for transport controls, so if I go 2 at 50% and we apply that, you can see the master fader was moved, and we see it's just been reflected in Reaper. If I move that up just a little bit, just so we can see that pan. Beyond that, if I then go channel 5, just so we can go across to the vocal pan, and I set that at 50% again, we can see that the pan's just moved. This gives full control of all the functionality, or sort of as such pan and fade within OSE from a lighting desk. If I then locate channel 1, send it to 100%, ArtNet has started playing, obviously because I've got all my volume down at the moment. Nothing's coming through. You can see that it's just started playing. If I send every channel, so we can just go 2 through 30 at 50%. Send that. You can now see we've got VU meter coming in. Beyond this, I can just go and turn this off. So you can see that the information's here. All these channels are at 50%, but we can ignore all that now. With regards to my program and ArtNet, if I go back across to that, if you set channel 1 to less than above a quarter but less than a half, so maybe say 30%, it sends the pause command, as can be seen here, sending it to anything below this. So at 0, sends the stop command, which we can see now that it's all stopped. Going back to my application, I've got the also ability to implement to include automation. I just need to turn off ArtNet first. I've got full error checking in on most functions. Obviously they can't be on at the same time because there's a clash. So I'll turn that off. We'll turn ArtNet off. So now should have turned that off. Better. Right, I can now turn automation on, and I can, if I go back to scene 0, I can recall, it will reset everything. So it's been reflected in Reaper as well. But if I want to do that, I can then go to scene 1, and I can store this and call it, so we call it scene 1. This all has checks on it to ensure you've included text or numbers. So if I try and type a letter here, it'll then say that I can't include alpha characters, and then prompt me for a number, so 3 seconds for fade. If I then go back to channel 0 and recall, then come back to channel 1 and recall, there's a 3-second fade over the channels up to the values I've specified, and these can be viewed. So channel 0, everything's at -infinity. Next, everything is, so you can see it's all different, it's all pan central. This stores all, I can delete queues, and obviously if I try and delete queue 0, I can't do that because obviously you don't want any overflow issues. And I can tab through any lists I want. Beyond that, you can load additional scene lists. I think I may have 1 or 2 that I've been working on. I think that has a scene list, and yeah, so I've got just a different scene there, but I can load, I can still delete the scene, and that just leaves me with that, and I can save queue lists. Again, this will check that you have files available, etc., etc., before allowing you to save. So make sure that there's no issues with you not selecting a file location. On import, it will do a check to make sure that the file is correct. So if I try to load an Excel sheet, it essentially says the scene list is corrupt because it doesn't contain the data it's expecting. Going back to my main page and going back to my settings, I also have the ability to save and load settings and change such items, destination IP as mentioned earlier. This all again has error checking available, so if I try and include a letter and then click OK, it tells me it's alpha characters, so I go and restore that. I obviously can't enter really high port numbers due to the restrictions in the TCP stack, so I set that back to 8,000. And also there's still got my automation controls turned on, so I just clear that. Go back to settings. This is all restricted as well, so make sure you can't go above 16 universes and subnets, and that the start address is lower than the number of channels that you have in your software. So we'll turn that back off. Again, the ability to save and load setting files on the go is implemented with full error checking. So we'll OK this. The ability, if I go to my actual code, just right click there, is to automatically implement additional channels. So if you would like 20 channels, obviously this won't be reflected in Reaper, but I can easily put up 20 channels. My program automatically scales, including the information in my program window for viewing data. For some reason it's gone quite large, it's obviously, but that's not an issue. It hasn't cut off any data, so I can return, and that I believe is everything. This will actually say the dynamic ability means obviously you can, as long as you set your Reaper configuration file correctly, you'll be able to send and receive information on numerous channels. And that's all. Thank you.